Welcome to my channel, Sunshine Shoulders. I'm Calvin. Thank you so much for stopping by today. The subject of my vlog today is facts. English doesn't take you very far in the Philippines. But before I get started, let me welcome my viewers and subscribers. Thank you so much for your kindness, your generosity, and your support of my channel. It's truly been amazing. I'll never take that for granted. I want to put this short disclaimer out there before I get started. I want to make it clear that we're in the Philippines, and Filipinos are under no obligation to speak English. They speak their native languages and dialects about 95% of the time. The English language, which is the secondary language here, is spoken about 5% of the time. These are just my humble estimates, and that's for their jobs, their businesses, and just being polite to foreigners. You know, the ability to speak English and actually speaking it are two totally different things. And that's why I think it's very important that you learn the native language. You know, it just opens up a whole new experience over here for you. And otherwise, you're going to remain on the outside. It doesn't matter how long you've been coming to the Philippines or how much you think you know about the country. You're going to remain on the outside of the culture until you learn the language. People ask me all the time, well, why haven't you become more fluent in the language already? I've been here on and off for about 13 years. It'll be 13 years in April. And I have to admit, it's one of the biggest mistakes that I've made in my time over here was overlooking the importance of learning the language. You know, the remnants, I mean, just the minuscule Bisaya that I know over here, the locals are amazed because they know that foreigners, for the most part, ignore their languages. And we expect Filipinos to speak English. I think it's absurd because we don't do it in our countries. Matter of fact, we do the opposite. You come over there, we want you to learn the language immediately, the minute you get off the plane. But over here, our English is misinterpreted. It's misunderstood. We're always wondering what people are saying. Are they talking about us? And this is just for me. A lot of times I feel like I'm in a room full of mannequins. Nobody's saying anything, but everybody has that same expression on their face. I believe the language is the eighth wonder of the world. And to be unable to communicate, man, it's a great loss. It puts us at a great disadvantage. So the sooner we learn the language, the better. Because English doesn't take you very far here in the Philippines. One of the deciding factors, if not the deciding factor, that influences a lot of Westerners to visit and move to the Philippines is the impression that English is widely spoken here. That proves to be the cheese in the rat trap that lures us here. Because we soon realize that Filipinos speak their language about 95% of the time. But why should we be surprised? It's the same way in our home countries. But I'm ready for that new experience. You know, I'm ready to become fluent. I want deeper and more meaningful relationships and conversations with Filipinos. And the only way I'm going to do that is to learn the languages. There's a lot of opportunity that goes along with that. And I just feel that I'm inferior because I'm at their mercy to speak my language, and they're just more comfortable speaking theirs. And I can't blame them. But now I've got some skins in the game. I feel that I'm vested in the Philippines. I built a house. I've got children here. I've got a family here. I've chosen a long game. So guess what? I've got to have a strong game then, or else I'm going to remain inferior. It's just that simple, guys. So I'm going to have a tutor. I'm a hard tutor. And we're going to begin from square one. We're going to begin from scratch. I told them it's if I were in the first grade. And I've challenged myself. I've given myself 365 days to become fluent. I don't even know if that's possible, but I do know it's reasonable. And that's why they call it a challenge. But the fact is, I'm getting bored, man, over here. And, I need more than the smiles. I'm ready to come inside and give up my front row seat on the ledge. Because it doesn't matter that I've been over here 13 years, man. I'm just as much on the outside as the new man and woman. Napoleon Hill said that self-expression is one of the true riches of life. See, I want to laugh at the jokes. I want to understand the sarcasm over here. I'm ready to jump into culture with both feet, man, because English doesn't take you very far in the Philippines. I just want to put this out there today and let you know how important it is. When you get over here, unless you live in a big expat community where you're stumbling all over each other, if you don't know the language, man, a lot of loneliness comes along with that. Pumpkin Joe's Philippine experience, he was in St. Carlos City yesterday, and we had lunch, and he asked me about how I felt about the parties, the culture, the holidays over here, because there's a lot. And I said, I love them, but it's one of the most loneliest times for me because I'm in a room full of people and no one says anything to me. If you don't learn the language, we're going to be misinterpreted. We're always going to be misunderstood. We're always going to be wondering what the people are saying. Are they talking about me? If you're like me, man, you're going to feel like you're in a room full of mannequins. No one's saying anything. Everybody's got that same expression on their face. Imagine the friendships and relationships and opportunities that go along with learning the local language. Only then are you really going to get to know the people. Everything else is general, is superficial, and that's not enough for me, man. I need deeper, more meaningful conversations with people over here. Tim Carter, he lives up in Bukidnon. Well, he brought his 3 Filipino nephews. They were adults over to my house and to visit me. And it's always the same thing, man. We just have these superficial conversations. And me being an insurance agent, being somebody who enjoys a good conversation, it's just not enough for me anymore. I'm starting to feel awkward. I'm at their mercy because I'm in their country. The onus should be put on me to make the effort. I know very little Bisaya, but it shocks and amazes the locals over here because they know foreigners for the most part. We ignore their language. But I think that time has come to an end, especially for me. I got skins in the game, man. I'm vested. I chose the long game, so I've got to have a strong game over here now. I'm going to remain inferior. I'm losing out on a lot of opportunities over here because I cannot speak the language. I'm getting ready to fire my interpreter. I don't need it. Right now, me and Marilyn, we've been together almost 3 years. It'll be 3 years in May. We still have some strange conversations, man, because a lot of English doesn't translate over into her language. So I'm taking for granted that she understands me when a lot of times she doesn't. She doesn't comprehend my words. The basic words, yes. I honestly believe that I could have saved my marriage had I known how to speak the Filipino language. I would have been able to get her to see the true meaning of what I was trying to say. I took for granted that she understood me, but she didn't. Go on Facebook if you don't believe me, man. A lot of our words don't translate over into their language. I don't care if it's Tagalog, Bisaya, Ilonggo. You're gonna be surprised at what you find. And I'm not preaching. My videos are suggestions, really, and based on my experiences over here. So it doesn't matter whether you live in Luzon. I would say learn the Tagalog language. If you live somewhere in the Visayas region where they speak Bisaya, speak in Mindanao, I would say learn the Bisaya language. If you live in parts of Negros Occidental, Iloilo, in those places, Ilongo is what you're going to want to learn. It just opens up a whole new world in the Philippines for you. Imagine being able to actually engage in meaningful dialect with people that you see on the street instead of the basic salamat, ayam, buntag. I think it's to our advantage. So thank you so much for stopping by. Just a short video. I want to let you know how important it is. Don't make the mistake I made. Don't overlook this, because there's a lot of loneliness that comes along with not being able to speak the language. You're going to be at their mercy. 95% of the time, man, they're going to speak their language. That's what they're comfortable with. We're in the Philippines, and Filipinos are not under any obligation to speak English or whatever your native language is. So if in America it's getting late, before you let your head hit the pillow, I hope you help somebody. But if you're on one of them late grocery runs, beer runs, weed runs, just getting off second shift, or you're on your lunch break and you see somebody in the street, buy them something to eat, buy them something to drink, give them a few dollars. If you're in the Philippines, it's early. It's not even 8 a.m. yet on a Monday morning. I'm getting packed and ready. I'll be going down to Dumaguete, then on to Zamboanga City to visit with my son for a week or two. I'm excited about that because Zamboanga is real strict. They're opened up now. Gives me an opportunity to go down there and see him. His birthday was March the 10th. He doesn't know I'm coming, so it's going to be a real shock. But we have the whole rest of the day to find somebody to help here. Not a day goes by that I don't help somebody over here, because people help me in my time of need. For anybody that doesn't know, I used to be the town drunk. But when I decided to get my life together to do that 180, people came out of the woodwork to help me, offer me employment, place to stay, recovery. And I hope I never forget that. Because if I don't know anything else, I know this one thing for sure. When we help other people, we help ourselves. Take care, stay safe, stay COVID free. I'll see you next time. This video, I was trying something new. I'm on my bike with my gimbal, so you see a lot of shaking, but I wanted to show y'all a little bit more of San Carlos. And as I get this down pat and become better with it, I'm going to take you around the whole area. The good, the bad, the indifferent. So take care. I'll see you next time.